The RTC room can be a helpful place for students to refocus. However, the students who spend a fair amount of time in there can easily fall behind. Now there is a new technology to help with this problem.
So what we're doing is we're using technology to bring the classroom to the student in in-school suspension. So there's two laptops. One of them goes to the student's class and the teacher can open it up and it live streams a video and audio of what's going on in class to the in-school suspension room with Mr. Boyajian. So that way, kids can hear and see what's going on, get the new information, and still serve their consequence at the same time.
Kind of in the beginning phases of it. And what we're trying to do is get where kids are coming in here all day for an in-school suspension, where they have the opportunity to not miss a directed teaching day in one of their classes where they have the explanation of the assignment that they're working at.
It helps so you don't have to go from class to class asking what you're gonna do.
Recording any questions you have in the margin and squiggly underline.
One reason the FaceTime was created is to help students stay up to date in their classes.
Well, one of the things that I've noticed is that this year we've had some students who've made bad choices and ended up in in-school suspension. When I look at the grades of those students, they tend to be a lot lower than the rest of their peers. The average GPA, grade point average for an East Middle School student is about a 3.3. But when I look at the kids who've been in school suspension, the GPA on the average is only a 2.3. And so we're taking students who are already falling behind, taking them out of class because they've been disruptive or haven't followed directions, and it's causing them to fall further behind. And so I wanted to come up with a new idea that would allow us to give them a fair consequence, but also allow them to get the new information that's being presented in class.
I think it's helpful because during that hour, during that class period, they have a very specific focus. They're logged in to watch the instructor at that time. They're listening from their headphones and they're working on that specific subject. So for that window of time, they're really directed.
I think when technology is used really well, I think it's a wonderful tool to help not only the kids, but obviously in our society that we're living in now. So I thought it was great when Mr. Mead came up to me with the idea.
Students and staff are excited for the opportunities the FaceTime offers.
I prefer the FaceTime because it minimizes the need for that student to ask me a question later. I'm able to then put on headphones and communicate with that student who's located in RTC. And so if that student has a question, they can ask me yet in the hour while it's fresh in their mind. So they don't have to wait for an answer. They can know right away.
I do think it will end up helping because students will be able to actually see their teachers and get the same instructions with the exact wording and everything while still, being in the detention room.
I think it already is affecting them in a good way. I think that it keeps them focused on that particular class that they're working on, and I think that it's going to make them not miss as much work or miss that directed teaching teaching lesson for that day.
There are still a few issues being worked out with the FaceTime.
Better equipment, really, so people can hear you better and the teachers understand more, and the audio doesn't really get all staticky.
It is sort of challenging to multitask, to address my audience as a whole, and then the one or two that maybe aren't in the classroom.
Well, the only thing that I would say needs some improvement is that the quality. It was kind of really chunky and pixelated.
This has been Sydney and Sophia reporting for Trojan TV.